Hey everyone, hope you all are well. Today I wanted to talk about dealing with limited color palettes. Before I get started, I wanted to go over the primary supplies I'll be using, which all came from the June ArtSnacks box. I will be using 3 Tombo ABT markers, 2 General's pastel chalk pencils in sap green and light blue, and a green Zig Painty FX marker. I'll also use a brown pen and white gel pen for smaller details. Okay, on to today's discussion. So as you can see, I had a very limited color palette of green, pink, and light blue, with the blue not being as opaque or intense as the pink and green markers because it's a chalk pencil. This isn't the first time I've had to deal with limited colors, and it certainly won't be the last. As artists, we really do have to be flexible and be problem solvers. So in many cases, when you have limited color palettes, and this also depends on what mediums you're using, but with markers or watercolors, or if you're glazing acrylics or things like that, you can always layer. If you can't directly mix the colors together, which you would be able to with watercolor and acrylic, but with markers, layering is going to be something that will allow you to expand your color palette. You don't have to confine yourself to dealing with the colors that are right in front of you as those base colors, if that makes sense. Base color meaning that if that marker is pink, then you have pink. If that marker is green, you have green. You can expand to that, and by layering them, you can get browns and earth tones and things like that. So in this case, having a green and pink marker, I had somewhat of complementary colors. They didn't make complete brown, but they made a dull, darker pink, which was really pretty. So by overlapping and layering these colors, I've given myself 1 or 2 more colors to work with. Another technique is using the green and blue chalk pencils as a base underneath the marker, and that's going to give it a little bit of color variation. Not a whole lot, and it isn't very noticeable, but it does make a difference. I do that with the hair, where I put down green or blue first and then go over it with the pink, and it really just gives it a little bit more depth. So by mixing and layering the colors, I was able to expand my palette without losing the main colors themselves, which allowed me to do a piece that would have been a little bit more difficult to color in if I had allowed myself to be limited. And obviously, layering and using different base colors and things like that, if you have limited color palettes or limited art supplies, these techniques are not always going to work. Sometimes they're going to create colors that are really not the best colors. But the point is to remind you and to remind ourselves, as all of us as artists, or if you're not an artist and you're just curious, that you should never feel limited or discouraged by your color palette or your art supplies. Sometimes you'll have complete freedom and control over your color choices, but oftentimes you might not have a choice of what colors you get to use. Or sometimes you might be traveling or something and you're very limited with your art supplies. Just remember, you can do so many different things with what you already have in front of you. The key really is to experiment and play with your supplies and your colors and figure out what you can and can't do with them and go from there. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for someone. I know it was pretty short, but I just wanted to briefly touch the topic. If you have any questions about this or anything else, comment below or message me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye!